Back again. Welcome on in. Yeah, continuing Breath of Fire 3. Payne, Clem, thank you for the resubscription, Clem. 22 months, is it? Absolutely crazy. So the thing I've noticed about resubscription stuff, when you send messages with subscriptions, a lot of the time they're not actually caught by the standard chat setup. So unless the streamer has a specific thing set up so like a message will display with the subscription, it won't actually come through. So the emote you sent, I can see it, but it won't have appeared on stream. And if you've ever resubbed to Ali and sent a message with the resub, you'll see the same thing. The message won't pop up in the chat stream. So, we left off. I left the volcano. I can't remember what it's called. Mount Z something. To grind. I have not done that. So we'll be continuing as we were. Hope you all look forward to it. I'm just eating a cereal bar before the stream started, so I've got the cereal bar bits in my teeth. So if you see me making weird faces, that's me just using my tongue to get the cereal bar pieces out of my teeth. To appreciate them. So fucking starving. Zublo. There you go. What a chill track. Yeah, I don't know why, like, before stream started, I'm just like, I'm starving. Also not feeling super great, so like maybe that's connected. I don't know. How's everybody doing? Go on. Living the dream? I don't believe you. I don't like these lizard men and their almost guaranteed counters. That. Particularly with how much health they have, they take a bunch of time to take down, so it's a lot of almost guaranteed count. This is why I don't ask. I just assume you'll tell me when it's ready for me to move in. Motherfucker. So I finished Arkham Knight again. Fun. I had a thought. I think the only person on my Steam friend list who has Arkham Knight on PC and plays it is Flame. So I want to challenge Flame to beat some of my scores on the challenge maps. Ooh, nice hit. What's that? You're building a house and the house is giving you trouble? Maybe you should move out of the town. Oh, what? Mecha-chrono raised dead. Not revival or anything, no, raised dead. That sounds like a necromancy spell. Yeah, let's just run around and do a bit of grinding in here. Lack of tact is even more infuriating. Yeah, that's very understandable. Motherfuckers with their defense raising spells. I appreciate healing you right after healing you, Momo. Flame, Thunder, Defender, Eldritch, Recall, Fall. No, these ones are on 4 legs. Thank you, Bane, but I think you'll find I said, these motherfuckers. I said that and I was like, what the fuck did I say motherfuckers for? No, I was actually looking, because I was downloading some stuff to my Steam Deck, and I was looking through the list of games that are verified on Steam Deck, and one of them is, well, 2 of them, Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. And I was looking at them like, do I want to go one of them? And it's like, I keep saying, like, you don't want to do a Dark Souls game. You don't want to do your first playthrough on stream. It's not going to be fun. Speaking from experience. Oh yeah, we were just straight up running from these fat-ass rock men. Yeah, so it's like, do I want to do Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 on my Steam Deck? Is it? No. There we go. Yeah, I was looking at it. And the thought that popped up in my head was like... Well, the thought that popped up in my head was like, do I want to do Dark Souls 2 again and give it another chance? Well, I didn't install either of them on my Steam Deck. Honestly, though, more... It's put me doing that, but... I think the real answer is, like, I just don't want to play Dark Souls. I don't want to fucking do it. Like, not even just Dark Souls 2, I don't want to play Dark Souls. And, like, when you did Dark Souls 3, Clem, I was watching you play and I was like, this doesn't look fun. Like, yeah, I've played a little Dark Souls 3. And it seemed fine, like, seeing like more Dark Souls, but watching you do Dark Souls 3 was like, does not look that fun. Chances are at some point I'll get the idea in my head and I will do another Souls game at one point. The real question will just be like, which one will it be? It's like, there's various Souls-likes that I'd be interested in doing, I suppose. Like, I do want to play Nioh. I've had Nioh there for so goddamn long. These goddamn confusion. And like, a big part of that goes from my experience with Code Vein. And my experience with Code Vein versus my experience with Dark Souls 2, and just Dark Souls in general. Of how I feel like I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of a Souls-like. I just don't really enjoy the way Dark Souls does it anymore. Like, Nioh's been one I've been thinking about doing for a while anyway. I have to Surge, which is a futuristic, it's a sci-fi Souls-like, which would be different and would be interesting by that idea. Yeah, and the only one that doesn't do that is the original, but the original's got other problems. Like, I'll sit down and I will enjoy a good amount of Dark Souls 1. I was doing it a while ago, it might have been earlier this year, it was probably earlier this year. Off stream, and I was streaming it to the Discord every now and then while I was going through it. It was just something I could do without really thinking too much, and you just do it while I was listening to something in the background or whatever. It was good. And then, like, once you get the Lord Vessel, like, that game is just not fun anymore. So I didn't finish that playthrough. I got the Lord Vessel and then just stopped playing it. No, that's not true. I went to the Duke's Archives, and I got the bonfire in the Duke's Archives, and then stopped playing it. All that was after I did the setup to get the Dark Lord ending, though. Which meant killing Sith before doing the Artorias DLC. So you can then fight the Four Kings, which wasn't fun. I did all that. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely a problem FromSoft had going forward. And it's such a shame that, like, every game... Being Bizarro thing. Yeah, Cave. It's such a shame that pretty much everything FromSoft makes became Dark Souls. Because, like, there's a lot of stuff I played growing up that I'm really fond of in various ways. That FromSoft made that's, like, so varied. Like, I regularly talk about how much I like Otogi and Otogi 2. That's FromSoft. There's at least one Tenchu game which was FromSoft. I have to look up the list, but like there's a bunch of stuff from FromSoft before Dark Souls became everything they do. I've been saying for a while I want to give Bloodborne at least one more solid try. Bloodborne sounds like the kind of game I should like, should enjoy, and I've just never gotten on with it. Sekiro frustrated me. Sekiro. There was a point I got to where I was enjoying that game, but it's just not mechanically tight enough for what it wants. Far too often you're fighting the game itself. And it feels like, in a bunch of ways, that the designers knew that. There's at least one fight, one mini-boss fight, where the actual difficulty of the fight is the camera. And it feels like they knew it because it's a fight with a monster you've killed previously. Or a monster type you've killed previously. And the only difference now is that it's in a tighter confine. That was frustrating. What else was there? Elden Ring. I've not properly gotten into Elden Ring. Elden Ring would probably work better for me as a stream. But I feel like that'd be a game that would just take so much of my time that I would just get tired of it. if I'm doing it on stream. Or I'd have to make sure I'm alternating. Go back to doing alternating again. Just so I'm doing something else with it. And not just only playing that for like 6 months. How much money do I have? Not much. But yeah, there's that. I don't know, maybe at some point next year. I have the PS5 set up. I have all my PS4 stuff downloaded to my PS5's external hard drive. Which is like one of the saving graces of the PS5, that you can just load your PS4 games onto the external hard drive you used for the PS4. Which is good, because you won't fit much of it on the PS5. Why the fuck is the storage space on the PS5 smaller than the storage space on the PS4? Oh, because it's an SSD, cool. But the games are also now much bigger. So yeah, I got Bloodborne just loaded up on there. We'll see. Wrong way again. I do genuinely think that, like, streaming your first run through a Souls game is probably a bad idea in general. But it's probably going to be the only way I'll actually get into doing Bloodborne properly. Well, I bought Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and downloaded that. And that game's like 145. That's stupidly big. I think actually on my PS5 I have like 5 games installed. I deleted something when I was done playing it, and I don't remember what it was. Spider-Man 2's still on there. Any moment I might decide to turn that back on and play some more of it. I did 100% it. I deleted Jedi Survivor when I was done with that. That's a game I'm considering for the return of Star Wars month next year. Because we did KOTOR and we did KOTOR 2, so it's like, what would be the big Star Wars game that we do next year? Because like a majority of them aren't actually that long. Nice. Delayed Rebirth. With the size of it, you kind of have to. Like, once you're done with games now, you kind of have to delete them. Especially with expandable storage kind of not really being a thing at the minute on these new systems. Yeah, I know you like your Genshin. I feel like you're diving a little too far into your gacha, because you had Genshin, you had Honkai Star Rail. You downloaded that Zenki Zero, didn't you? Yeah, I'm sure you had a fourth one on the go. Maybe calm down with that a bit. Like, play a game you paid for. It's always one of my justifications for like why I'm not gonna touch something like Genshin. Didn't spend any money on the others before. No. It's like I've got so many games that I've actually paid money for that I really shouldn't be spending my time on a game that I didn't pay anything for. It's one of my justifications. Another is I don't like the whole thing of you get to the point where they're pushing you to spend money. How effective it is isn't the point. Like, there's various reasons. Are you two still confused? There we go. If you enjoy what you enjoy, it's fair. You also don't have as big a library as I do, so... There's not as big a deal. Big an issue to get through a lot of it. And then there I am, just playing Arkham Knight again. You know what would really get me if I started playing Genshin? And what would absolutely keep me from playing more of it? Would be the way I'm just so tired of modern open world game design in fantasy worlds. And it sounds like a really specific thing. Like, oh yeah, no, it's just as an excuse not to play Genshin. I started playing Immortals Phoenix Rising a little while back, because it was getting to look kind of interesting. I enjoyed enough of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I was like, you know, it'd be nice if they had more of the Greek mythology stuff in there. And that's what Immortals Phoenix Rising seemed like, what I expected it to be. With it being from Ubisoft as well. It's like, who even remembers Immortals Phoenix Rising anymore? That game died off so quickly. So I started up and played like 2-3 hours of it, and it was the most generic open world fantasy game that you could play. And it wasn't even bad. It was just the same game as like so much other stuff. Oh, I don't want to go that way. Definitely don't want to go that way with that health. And so I ended up turning it off and just haven't played it since. Oh hey, a new chest. Restores AP. I have to find more of those at some point. Yeah, it's part of a larger problem I have with a lot of modern games. In that so much of the design it feels very homogenized, so much feels the same. It's a problem that I feel has been building for an extended period now. And why I keep diving deeper and deeper and for longer and longer periods in just playing older games. Because there's a point when design wasn't standardized. When things could be anything for better or worse. And also when every game wasn't designed to take up 100 hours, which is also tedious. You want to talk about, like, old time bullshit. I've been complaining about it on stream for a little while whenever it's come up. Of, like, close walking section. And, like, taking it back to Arkham again. Because the Arkham series is a really good example of it. When the game stops you, so Batman can just be chatting to Oracle. And it's like, cool, you know what this would have been better as? A cutscene. I get you want to try and keep the cutscene count down because there's kind of a stigma against it, but you know what a cutscene would have? Cinematography. Something more interesting than the character just standing stock still while the lips flap. And that goes back to the same problem I have with Metal Gear Solid 2. Of how, like, the game would stop doing cutscenes to put you into codec calls, which were so bland to look at. Which is why, like, despite Metal Gear Solid 2 being a vastly technically superior game to Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 1 is far more interesting to watch. Yeah, Silent Hill 2 Remake does look pretty good. I'll give it that. Not super interested in picking it up. I probably will eventually. Really? There's an interesting note, I think, like watching Ali play it. In pre-release material, seeing some of the trailers and such, it looked... You know what? Same. I am also more interested in Sparking Zero than Silent Hill 2 Remake. But, like, the pre-release material for Silent Hill 2 Remake, where it was showing, like, the over-the-shoulder wandering and the combat and stuff, and it looked so generic. And I feel like a big part of that is down to the camera, specifically. The game in play looks so much more engaging than that, which is nice. And I think it sets itself apart because of its willingness to do something that a lot of modern games don't do, and that's to blind you. Like, when you're out on the streets, the fog is surprisingly very thick, and they keep that distance, the visible distance, very low with that, which is surprising. It's true to Silent Hill, which is great. And when you're inside, the darkness is also like very, very heavy, which absolutely keeps it from falling into the trap of feeling generic in that regard, the way it looked like it was going to be in the trailer. And it ties back to a thought I had when I saw a mod for Silent Hill 3 a little while back that gave the game an over-the-shoulder view. The Silent Hill 3 could probably do the whole thing. It is fully 3D environments. I imagine with the fixed camera angles, there were some corners that aren't actually modeled, because you were never expected to see them, which is something you get in Ocarina of Time 3D. During the parts where there's the forced camera perspective, you can actually break the camera in Ocarina 3D and force it behind your back in those sections. And you can see the stuff that isn't modeled, because you're only supposed to see it from a specific camera angle. So Silent Hill 3 could probably do that, but like seeing the camera mods give it the modern over-the-shoulder camera, Silent Hill 3 just looked immediately so generic, which took away from a lot of the mystique of the fixed camera angles can give. Which, like, love them or hate them, fixed camera angles give the developer complete control over your viewpoint, which means they can show you exactly what they want you to see at any given moment, which, for horror, is great. Like, how many modern horror games have you played where something happens and a scare cord goes off, and you haven't seen it because you've been looking in the opposite direction? But yeah, getting back to the previous point. Yeah, Silent Hill 2 Remake doesn't end up feeling generic in that regard. It feels like its own thing, that it's doing its own idea faithfully, in a way that is still very much focused on being horror. It's like, hey, games are excessively dark. I understand that. There are some older games that were absolutely willing to make it so you could not see a goddamn thing, like, in first person. I don't know if you've ever seen Sven Co-op. Sven Co-op is a mod for the original Half-Life that is very well regarded and quite scary. And the creator was absolutely willing to put you in a position where you could not see shit. Like, you would absolutely just be blind, and it's an interesting idea that a lot of professional developers aren't going to do, because it's off-putting, but for horror, it absolutely works. There's a balance to it, I think. And from what I've seen of Ali playing Silent Hill 2 Remake, that game does seem to get the balance, plus the fact that you get the flashlight very early, as you did in the original, to help you see through there. Like, it works. Seems like a well-designed. I guarantee you, when I eventually get to playing it myself, I will have complaints, but I have complaints with everything. I have complaints with the original Silent Hill 2. I think it's a fantastic game, but it isn't. Like, nothing is. Is that so, Clem? I never knew that you had any kind of issues with Silent Hill 2. No game's perfect. I'll criticize games that I genuinely love because they're not perfect. Of course they're not. I don't need to come out yet. I can do some more grinding. FF7 absolutely isn't perfect, and over the 2 times that we've gone through the game together, like, I've brought up numerous complaints I have with the game. Final Fantasy IX's fantastic, it ain't perfect. Ocarina of Time is astounding, it ain't perfect. Skies of Arcadia Legends, probably my favourite RPG, it absolutely is not perfect. Dear God, I hate that travelling through South Ocean in Skies of Arcadia. And you could fix that so easily if you just made those revival items 100% effective. Or remove the enemies that will cast instant death on you there. Mega Man X ain't perfect, don't come in here with that bullshit. I think it's the best Mega Man game, it ain't perfect. I think if you have any real level of self-awareness, you will absolutely recognize and be willing to acknowledge the flaws in what you love. I know you're willing to. We've had discussions over these things previously. Hey, how you doing, Flame? Yeah, at this point, I consider it in a different fashion to RE1's bad voice acting. Like the wonky translation of Final Fantasy VII is an issue. But it's never enough of an issue, really, to prevent the game from being enjoyable. And as the time has gone by over the last 27 years, I feel like we've just learned to laugh at the problems of it. Like, this guy are sick. Be a cause, you are a puppet. Like that stuff. RE1's voice acting, I feel, is different. There's the weird thing that RE1's voice acting, being the way it is actually intentional. From people who didn't know better. Which is the craziest thing. And I feel like I did mention this when I did... I'm gonna hit you with lightning, you little bastard. I feel like I did mention this when we did RE1. Like, you've got stuff like the voice acting was directed by people who didn't speak English. The voice tracks were edited by people who didn't speak English. Which is a crazy thing to do. So, the most standout line is, like, Wesker's "Stop it, don't open that door." Which sounds completely disjointed, because it is. It's multiple takes stitched together by people who don't speak English but thought that it sounded cool that way. So it's a deliberate decision. While also it's a deliberate decision that adds to the pre-existing B-movie charm of bad acting. You could probably reasonably argue, if you weren't really aware of things, grab the rope. Like, if you weren't really aware of the development, you could very reasonably argue that OGRE1 is a deliberate throwback homage to, like, bad 70s, 80s B-movie horrors that somehow come out as, like, really compelling and entertaining. I have heard FF7's translation into other languages was pretty bad. I heard 8's was really bad. Grab the rope! Don't grab the rope, baby! Grab the rope! Don't tip the rope over! But yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of stuff like that. Recognize the problems and still appreciate them. It's the same as love. Like for the positives, love for the flaws. Anyway. That rock also has an ass. It would be nice if we ended up with, like, a proper remaster of the PlayStation Final Fantasy trilogy. It's like, let's be absolutely candid and fair, as I always am. The PS1 Final Fantasy trilogy, the modern versions of them that have been released, are not great. They are rough and in a lot of ways feel quite low effort. And it would be really nice point Square would put the effort into properly remastering in a similar way to the Pixel remasters. It's particularly baffling with stuff like Final Fantasy VIII Remastered is the standout one, because like FF7 and FF9 on modern platforms are basic HD ports. That don't pretend to be anything else, and they've still got like the original resolution backgrounds with cleaned up character models. And the emphasis is on cleaned up. But then you've got Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, which made a very big deal pre-release about the new character models, the new 3D models that the game had. Which look quite nice. Like, I'll absolutely give them that. What was conspicuously absent, which I noticed in the pre-release trailers, was any showing of anything that wasn't FMVs and battles. And the reason became obvious when the game came out, because they hadn't cleaned up any of the background images at all. The world map looked awful. Like, you could see the individual tiling on the world map. It was real. And it becomes a real question of, like, when you've gone to the effort of redoing every single 3D model, which can't have been a small thing to do. Like, at that point, why not just make new backgrounds again? Okay, you lost the originals, so you can't work off them. Or whatever. Like, look. Glenn, we're talking about Final Fantasy VIII. Like, look at the images of the backgrounds and figure out what they're supposed to be and remake them. Damn it. Like, this the whole point of, like, Final Fantasy 7 and 9 were just basic ports and they were pretending to be anything else. Final Fantasy 8 Remastered did. Which is why I have a particular problem with that. It's like, oh, that would, like, doing stuff like that would have raised the price. Cool, it wasn't particularly expensive. It launched at like $20. Up it to $30 and put the effort into actually properly remaster the game. No, the world map in FF8 Remastered looked worse than that. And then there was stuff that made it obvious that it was just another reskin port of the original PC release. Because it lacked analog support again, like FF9 HD did. And there was the glitches you could very easily replicate, which replaced the soundtrack with the PC MIDI versions. Which begged the question of, like, why those versions were even in the file to begin with. Even in the game file to begin with. And there was the issues with the frame rate. How the menus ran more at a lower frame rate than the original. Which meant Renzo Kuken was just outright harder to pull off. And I just feel like when you've got fans doing stuff like making HD, yeah, upscaled HD backgrounds for FF7 and 9 on PC. It's like, yeah, they're upscaled, so they're not perfect, but like they look better than the original 240p resolution backgrounds that have been put in the packs, that have been put in the game's releases. You got fans doing that, and Square just isn't. Like, Square's got the resources for that. Like, my opinion on a lot of this stuff has been, like, especially for more than anything else, remasters, anything that counts itself as an improved release of a previous release. Like, the fans shouldn't be made. The fans shouldn't be fixing things that developers could have done. Yeah, it's like Square should have up-res the backgrounds, even if they just AI upscaled them themselves. Would have been a better idea than just leaving them as they were. It's like with this other stuff that I don't count in the same way. Like, you talk about mods for Resident Evil, and we can turn around and say something like, specific costume, like going through Arkham Knight. And it's like, oh, I've got mods that add new costumes to the game. And it's like, costumes were never really a necessity, not something that ever had to be included. New costumes are nice, not something that like needed to be. So, like, equivalent. I'm trying to think. Resident Evil. Like, with RE2 and RE3, and now RE1, you've got stuff like the Seamless HD mods, which clean up the backgrounds, make them look really nice and crisp. And like all the interface elements and such. And that's really nice. It's not exactly the same because when these Seamless HD mods came out, they were for the GameCube version to run in a specific version of Dolphin. So it wasn't that Capcom had re-released Resident Evil and it looked exactly the same as it did back then with no effort to improve it. But like if Capcom did re-release them like that, like if Capcom released RE1, 2, and 3 on modern systems, not just on the GOG release, when like GOG is going to be the original releases of the games, just made to run on modern systems. That like if Capcom put together like a classic RE trilogy on PS5, Xbox, Switch, PC, whatever. The backgrounds shouldn't still be at their original resolution because that would look like shit. If you're playing through emulation, sure, that's not an official thing. The version of the game you're playing was never intended to be at that resolution. It's gonna look like shit, and that's understandable. Can't really deal with that without any kind of modification. But I think the official releases should be better. Um, and like I say, like Resident Evil is a good example. Like if Capcom did put out a trilogy of it, but yeah, now they're on modern systems. The PS1 classic, like RE1 Director's Cut is on PS5, and it's advertised as the PS1 game, and it's the same as it is. Like it's emulation, it's upscaled. The pre-rendered elements look like shit because high resolution. That's fine. It's something you take with that kind of release. If they turn around and did a re-release of 1, 2, and 3 for these systems, they should be better than that. Is what I'm really saying. With like cleaner backgrounds, clean like they shouldn't look pixelated as shit. Which is what Square did with their modern releases of Final Fantasy 7, 8, and there's like the difference is like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, you get them on PS3, they're the PS1 versions. You play them on PS3 and they're upscaled to the resolution on the PS3. I forget what the PS3 outputs PS1 games at. Like you put them on there and they output that, and it's like, oh, they look like shit. Yes, because they're just the PS1 game. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on the PS4 are not just the PS1 games. They are improved releases that cost more. You are paying extra for something, and as a result, I think they shouldn't look like shit. I think that's like the main thing I'm getting that. That's the best way to put it. I hope everybody has understood what I'm trying to say. All right, let's do this. I feel a good comparison, even at that point, is like look at some of the recent stuff like Night Dive. Every time Night Dive puts out or like announces a new game, a new remaster, I'm always interested because Night Dive have consistently, with one exception, put out re-releases and remastered game that have been fantastic new, been converted into their own engine, but run and play fantastically while still being true to the original game. Often adding new content to them for whatever they may be. I hold Night Dive standard of what remasters should be. On another level, there is also the Aspire remasters that have been happening recently, which like Aspire got the license to do a bunch of the Star Wars stuff, and a lot of their Star Wars remasters and ports were like they genuinely were like Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast on Switch and PS4, bare bones PC bare bones PC ports that are terrible to play on a controller because they've got no console consideration for them. I heard Republic Commando was very much the same way. But then there was the Tomb Raider remaster collection, 1, 2, and 3, where they completely reskinned the entire game. You have the option to go back to the original, but like the entire game has a new look that looks a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, while still feeling true to the original. I really liked how the Lara model looked like it was almost almost exact to the old FMV model that they had in the games, which was. And they bundled 3 games together, and they're doing it again with the later 3 core design Tomb Raider games. They're doing it again. Apparently, they're actually fixing up a lot of what was wrong with Angel of Darkness, and they're bundling Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2 together and doing the same thing with those. And it's like the price of these games is, I think, at full price, they're £25. You're getting 3 games in them, or 2 in Soul Reaver's case. And there's a lot of effort gone to make these games look, run better, and be a little closer to modern standards. And then you've got Square sitting there with like, oh yeah, here's one game. It's like 15, 16, 17 pound. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 each. And they're the most wank versions that you could throw out. It's like, oh, but those games are longer. It's like, yeah, they're also still just as old. Because at that point, like, why aren't we turning around and saying stuff like, the collection of mana? Those games are longer, so they should be priced more as well. Which they were. But that's Square pricing. Square prices. Hey, do you want to buy Dragon Quest game? Do you want to buy ports of DS versions of Dragon Quest games on your phone? Cool. Far above average prices. I think the point I'm making is other companies are doing like really good remastered of these old games, and Square just throws out the most basic shit that a lot of the times isn't even running as well as the original version did. And saying there, that's Chrono Cross on release. The Chrono Cross remaster on release ran worse than the PS1 version. And there's not really a good excuse for that. Especially not when they're charging $30 for it. Anyway, Breath of Fire. In another sense, it's like, okay, Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on PS1 were priced at, I think, £10 each. And they run better than the more expensive versions that are made for PS4 and PC and Xbox and stuff. Alright, let's try this. See what Wind does for us. Shield again. I'd like a little more speed on Mecha again. Or maybe I don't, because he's already the fastest person. Alright. I underestimated how much speed I'd do. Nina, you just keep hitting them. Momo, boost yourself, and we'll boost Nina. Even when baited, he's going to defend. Alright. Maybe a little more defense. I'm gonna take him out. Excellent, it missed. Or just didn't work. Chance of restoring dead member. Hate that in every RPG, it's a thing. That's not bad. A little worse. Would appreciate if that woken her up. There might be too many enemies in this game that know that. There we go. Well and good, buddy, but I'm doing more damage than that per turn. Momo decides to actually hit him. Doing fine. lot better since we knew this was coming this time and didn't waste all of our AP fighting Rockmon. There we go. Now we can focus on the worms. Awesome. This is going so much better now. Almost doing some really nice damage. Oof. Yeah, speed's going to be a really good spell, I can feel. I wonder who the drooling old man was. Watch this. Definitely take care of that before it becomes a problem. I feel like this boss fight, though, has probably been the best example of the way this battle menu is set up being, like, really not good. The way the enemy health bars block the view of the damage you do to the enemy on the bottom right. the way that the enemy on the top left has its name cut off in its health bar when you target it. Remedy. Alright, let's go. Doing okay? Where there's stuff like this. Alright, we made it. Now to go to Angel Tower. After we camp. Alright. Fair enough. Also save, just for good measure. Angel Tower, here we come. I wonder if anything's happened in the fairy world yet. The way the signpost responds every time I look at it suggests that something's going to change or something. Yeah. Alright. Anyway, onwards to Angel Tower. I didn't expect this to be a village. Okay, is it forbidden for you to write it down? You know, I'm pretty sure there is evil to be found on the world at pretty much all times. Hmm. What would the in-game value of not killing my enemies be? Well, shame Gar isn't with us. put Gar in the party for a bit. I have to have Gar in the party for the journey through Angel Tower. This leveling is not going to go. Nina's at a good level now, but we're taking her out to put Gar in, who isn't at a good level. So we need to do extra work to get him up to where we're at. Then Nina's going to fall behind. Hey, Panda. Cutscene, so this was worth doing. Really don't feel like that's true. Okay, don't talk to her. Oh, not even talk to Gar again. Odd that this is here and there's nothing here. See if this town has a weapons shop. Oh, sweet. Oh, but you'll still charge me for it. Alright. I was getting free healing for a second there. Money! Ew. What does malevolent mean? Yeah, there's at least one occasion in Final Fantasy X where the traveling merchant is in direct danger if you fail, and he won't give you a discount or anything. I believe in you. It's like, yeah, do you believe in me succeeding without money? Even the me who believes in you. This character sprite looks like it should be a unique character. What'll we do if evil returns? Well, we'll fight it, won't we? That's right. That's right. He's dead now. No idea who he was or what the issue was with him, but now he's dead. Okay. Alright. Well, maybe we'll get answers in Angel Tower. Probably should keep Gar with us. Okay. I thought he was going to be like me. People and their secrets. Idle caves. One last save before we dive into the Angel Tower where something's gonna happen. We'll keep Gar with us though. You know what? We'll swap out Momo. Okay, the game already did that. Nice to the game to not care who I want in my party and decide for itself, but not actually tell me. I'm lying, it's not nice, it's actually really kind of irritating. Angel Tower. In we go. I feel like that wind is a sound that you hear in Ocarina of Time, but the Ocarina of Time version is on a shorter loop. That's good damage from Nina. See, you've been trying to get me to watch X-Men 97 for quite a while now. And I've been like, cool, I just need to go through the first 5 seasons again before we do the new stuff. And that's still not happened. What makes you think I'm going to end up just jumping into... probably like 10, 11 times more than that? That said, no, I have actually considered doing One Piece at some point. I have One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. And One Piece feels like something that would really do well in the Warriors idea. And I'd like a new Warriors game, since I'm kind of not playing Hyrule Warriors anymore. A new Warriors game that isn't just regular Dynasty Warriors. But the main thing that stopped me from, like, really starting it has been like, but what if I want to just go through One Piece? Which will give me the proper plot details and not an abbreviated version. Howard. I had the idea with Detective Conan at one point, or Case Closed, I guess. Back when I was still regularly reading manga. Of like, this has like 1,000+ chapters and have been running for like 20+ years. I can just read like a full story every now and then, because like a full mystery was always like 3 chapters. And I got through quite a lot of it. Nice. I like that it's actually a good interpretation of that. Yeah, that was part of why I was like, yeah, this would be something that would be good to just, like, pick up and read every now and then. As something to, like, pay attention to, but not really worry about getting super invested in. And so I did. I did that for quite a while. I eventually stopped. I feel like I was in the 300s somewhere. So I've never watched or read Lupin the Third, but with Detective Conan, I imagine the issue is probably that it never feels like it's going to go anywhere either. It never does anything, it never progresses in a real way, the characters don't evolve, they don't learn anything. It's always just, oh, a murder has happened, here's 3 chapters of a mystery. Like, over and over and over and over. Which is why I never expected to catch up with Detective Conan, because eventually I was just gonna stop bothering with it. Yeah, but I ended up stopping to... I ended up not watching anime anymore, and like just reading the mangas, because it was quicker, felt. That's fair. Fair interpretation. I feel like the dumb thing with Detective Conan, though, is like they could get his body back. Like they could actually wrap that plot up and they could get the body back, and then they could just keep going forever. Like, because it doesn't actually matter. There's like, imagine at any point if Conan got his body back and was just regular Shinichi again. Like, there's not a whole lot about the dynamic that would necessarily even change with that. Nice. Yeah. I'll try and get around to X-Men. I give you absolutely no indication that I will ever get around to One Piece. I'd like to, probably never will. You take care, T. Thanks for popping in, bud. Yeah, as much as possible, I want to keep from using AP healing in here. Okay. Strange thing to just see here. And that's how you know Klim's not really paying attention, because he would have absolutely commented on that. Oh. Could have done with them going down immediately. Motherfucker. Literally should have targeted anybody else. Alright, so there's a door here. It has a new theme. That means that's going to be a full-blown dungeon of its own, which I expected. But I'd rather go into that with everybody ready. And not with one character with reduced HP. See you later, Clem. Shame, because you really would have appreciated what we just saw, and like now you're just gonna have to wonder what it is until we go back there. Right, so hit the urn. It's weird that this town doesn't have any shops. Is there another town around here? Junk town. We should check them, see if they have any shop. At the very least, I'd like to buy some more healing items. Where was the building with the healing? This one? I appreciate them putting the inn closer to the entrance in this town than it was in the last town. Yes. How you doing, Clem? I was kind of looking at Sparking Zero earlier, thinking, like, am I going to buy this? I've been seeing some stuff about it, and I'm genuinely surprised at some of the characters that are in the game. Because, like, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 has been, like, the peak of Dragon Ball Z fighting game characters roster level. For a long time, like Raging Blast and Raging Blast 2 reduced it. But then Sparking Zero seems to have weird set of characters I wouldn't have expected to be in the base game. Like Pan's in there, like GT Pan, Super Baby Vegeta. And just characters that I wouldn't have expected in the base game. Maybe just DLC later. Hey, welcome on in, Mr. Gore. Re-release this game with trophies? Yeah. Just re-release in general, I think. Oh, they do have stuff here. Always down for a good re-release of a retro game. This is all very expensive. Are the transformations listed as separate characters in the roster? Like, that was something I felt was absolutely an issue in, like, fighters. Whereas, like, here's Goku, and here's Super Saiyan Goku, and here's Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Rather than just being like, here's Goku, and he can transform into Super Saiyan. Pretty nice, but it's expensive. What am I currently equipped with? Oh, I have empty slots on everybody. Oh yeah, the capsule system in OG Budokai was always frustrating. And then you'd have stuff like, oh, you want to use something like Patara or Fusion? Well, that's everything. That's all your slots on this one thing. I never was fond of that. So you're saying that characters don't transform during battle? They're just the preset character transformations? It was why with Budokai 3 at least, I don't remember how Budokai 1 and 2 ended up doing it, there was the breakthrough capsule, I think they were called, for every character that you could get, which was all of their abilities and transformations. They were still separate from Tara and Fusion, so that was awkward. But like, if you gave Goku the breakthrough capsule, he'd have all the abilities like Kamehameha, possibly the Meteor Crush, I forget if that was in Budokai 3. Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, Kaioken. It was all just in one set capsule. Getting the breakthroughs was a pain in the ass. You haven't played Kaioken. Fair enough. You can transform. Awesome. Because I saw footage of Goku starting a fight in Super Saiyan. Which is why I asked the question. Which is something you could do in Budokai Tenkaichi. You could have a character start the battle in a transformation. And they were still the same character. Yeah, I'm interested. Like, once it drops a little in price, maybe I'll see about picking it up. Especially these days, given how much DLC fighting game. Like, I don't want to buy a fighting game £60 and then have to buy more later on top of it. Back when it was just like one season pass. Oh yeah, buy the game and you'll get a sizable roster, and then there's a season pass and it'll expand the roster a decent amount. Like, that was fine, but now that games are on like multiple season passes, I'll wait. I'll absolutely just wait. I don't think I have all the DLC for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I definitely don't have all the DLC for Xenoverse 2. I was looking at Guilty Gear Strive earlier today. And I was like, do I want to pick up Guilty Gear Strive? It's like, oh, there's the Ultimate Edition. What does the Ultimate Edition get me? It gets me the game, Season Pass 1 and Season Pass 2. Like, cool. There is a third Season Pass. And it's like... Plus, there's the fact that I bought Guilty Gear Xrd and have barely played it. Especially with fighting games these days, if anything, I've got to make sure I'm buying it on a system that I can play with somebody on. Like, Smash got a bunch of its money worth for having like a decent length single player thing, and then having a lot of people I could play the game with. Like, not just randoms, like actual people I know. Which is why we had several streams on it. We might still be doing those streams every now and then if it weren't for the fact the online is garbage on it. That was interesting, but we got nothing out of it. I have to be careful about resources here. Let's talk about how, like, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is my favourite Tekken. Quite a bit. And like, if they re-released it, I would buy a re-release on the modern systems. But then I know I would barely play it. Issue with fighting games these days, I don't have the interest anymore. I'd like to, but they just don't love me as the same way they used to. Alright. I'll show you what we were talking about earlier, Clem. Let's take a look in this place. Yeah. That's why I said, like, that's how I know Clem isn't paying attention, because he'd say something about that. Naked woman, Clem ain't gonna let that pass by without a comment. Nice. God damn it. Alright. There's just not enough time in the day to like, the stuff that you want to do. You've got all these other concerns to do. Which is why I'm starting to GoFundMe to allow me to do nothing but play video games. Oh, I'm gonna hate this dungeon, I can feel it in my bones. This is gonna be how you get back up from jumping down, isn't it? Way it says that, cure all status changes. Suggests to me that's not just negative status effects. Well, I don't appreciate that being a thing. This might be the first isometric game we've spent any real time on the stream. I don't play a lot of games that have an isometric perspective. Mostly because I'm not fond of it as a camera angle. Eventually, we will get that full Persona 1, Persona 2 trilogy stream. Those are mostly isometric. Really don't like Persona 2's dungeons for that. At least in Persona 1, it's just a field navigation that is isometric. The actual dungeon navigation is the classic first-person style. Can I jump off these or not? But no, Persona 2 keeps the dungeon exploration in the same format as the field map exploration, and it is not enjoyable in the slightest for that. Absolutely despise enemies with instant death attack. It's like I could heal them now, but then what happens if it casts death again? Ugh. How you doing, Ninja? Just woke up. Excellent. Sounds like you're ready for a complicated JRPG dungeon from the late 90s. I'm just gonna hit all of you motherfuckers with lightning. Very good. Yeah, I think that confused Nina. Ninja, what discussions do you bring to the table today? I have 3 pathways to explore. I should heal. Great, everybody got hit with that. Whose bright idea was it to have enemies that come in packs that are capable of hitting you with a confuse attack that targets the entire party? Blim, I want you to ban this man. When you know, Ninja, that I'm coming for you. You'll regret what you've done. Here you go, what an awful idea. This feels like it's going to go down quite a bit. Where does this go? A dead end with a treasure chest. Excellent. My decision to come back up was justified. No, Clem, you're supposed to tell me to tell Ninja that he'll live to regret this. Absolute fucking nonsense. Okay, so raise him, heal him, hope that they don't immediately hit him with instant death again. The concept of that episode is so stupid. But it's such a good episode. Like, Cecil should not have been a character that would work or be appreciated in any way. And it's so goddamn good. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we'll bring on David Hyde Pierce and we'll do a bunch of Frasier references. Because he'll play Sideshow Bob's brother. It'll be it'll be stupid, it'll be wacky. And he'll build a dam and try to frame Bob for such. And like, it's such a dumb idea that... Honestly, at any other point in... If Cecil had been introduced as a character, like, after The Simpsons golden period, he probably would have been a character that would only appear once and just would not have been funny. Like, man, classic Simpsons knew how to do it. Really did. Coveralls that don't quite cover all. Like, there's a later episode that introduces the rest of Bob's family. And, like, they got John Mahoney to play Sideshow Bob's father. I feel like there was another one. Like, another character. Like, I'm sure Sideshow Bob's mother was in it, and, like, maybe she was played by somebody from Frasier. And, like, that was gimmicky and, like, way less interesting. Like, that original Cecil episode is just fantastic. Classics. Absolute peak of TV. I mean, it's probably, like, kind of crazy now and really sounds like hyperbole to be like, yeah, this cartoon, this animated sitcom from the early 90s, like, yeah, it started in 89, but like the big stuff of it was like early to mid-90s, like, was and arguably is the peak of television. Just in terms of, like, the sheer quality of the writing for such an extended period. And, like, it sounds like hyperbole to say that it's the peak of television, but, like, it kind of is. It's just that good. He's wearing an accessory that's supposed to protect him from instant death attacks. Alright, we'll be here when you get back, then. If I get a game over in this fight, I am ending the stream. I don't know which of these is the bigger problem. the one that can cast confusion on the entire party at once, or the one that does an attack that is almost guaranteed death. Powerful enemy, my ass. I guess keep watching your stream, Ninja. Joke of a fight. Protection versus death attacks, it says. Did it protect against death attacks? Honestly, just really pissed me off. And now I've got two characters at reduced HP. Until I leave this dungeon and go to an inn. I feel like what helps with a maze setting is a better view of the actual maze. Cool, the entire party is confused again. Such a bad idea. And then reversing my controls for a character who is confused outside of battle. And the game's being picky about where I can switch to Gar. Oh, I can just destroy those by pushing them into walls? Why would I ever think about that? every time one of those fuckers has done that attack, they've targeted Nina. Damn it. Maybe this time actually heal the person you're supposed to. Right, what have I actually accomplished here? Because I feel like I've gone around in a circle and found nothing. I've realised what I'm supposed to be doing. Love how much AP I'm having to spend on dealing with these instant death attacks. Oh, it's fine, I'll just spend more AP to heal her again. $39 XP, not even fucking worth it. Yep. It's there, stairs there. I have it so you can break the blocks that you need to stand on. Good thing I had the thought to bring Gar in here. No, I do need to be coming in through the bottom because I need to push that block up. Yeah, if I hadn't thought it'd be a good idea to bring Gar in, we'd get to this room and be like, oh, we need to go all the way back out to get to camp to switch party members again. Still really don't enjoy dealing with random encounters when I'm doing puzzles in these games. Oh good, it's only 2/3 of the party this time. Good. Now to deal with this game's wonderful idea of letting confusion as a status effect linger after battle and affect you during the field map exploration. Push that back out with Gar. Gotta reset the room again. Huh? Hey, how you doing, Sound though? All the money we've got and still not enough to get that new sword. And for some reason, neither of the towns nearby sells healing items. I had to reset the room, I didn't need to reset it again. At least Gar's catching up in levels. I switched to Gar and it's just saying no is really starting to irritate me. Okay, cool, I get Gar can't fit into that space. Move the characters along until he can then. Ina's almost out of AP as well. God damn it. Okay, let's get through this room. There's going to be trouble. Well. Can't say I was expecting that. Okay, so is he going to be suddenly so much stronger now than he was a minute ago? See how this goes. Doable is how it goes. Alright. Guess we're doing this properly. I have the AP for Ascension. Forgot they were referring to him as Dynamite. I wish Gar did reprisals as often as he does now as he did. I wish Gar did reprisals this often when he was in my party. It's weird that Gar's been traveling with us as long as he has, and just doesn't get any of this. It's like, oh, maybe he's not a bad person, you know, with all the time he spent protecting the princess. Maybe he's also a child. What an odd time to have any kind of voice acting. Also, like, what odd voice acting to have. Okay, if I'm grown up now, why was I still a baby dragon? I mean, ah, you dropped something. I'm glad all my clothes still fit. When he was crouched down, it looked like he would be much taller than this. Like, I was looking at him crouched down, like, the length of the legs, and it looked like he would be, like, way taller than pretty much everybody else. So the Brood wanted to take over the world, and you begged God for the power to fight them, and then when you fought them, they didn't fight back at all. Oh, these are questions you should have asked like 400 years ago before you wiped out the entire race. Well, at least we've grown up now. Interesting we ended up back here, though. Didn't get to explore all of this place because they hit us with a crane. Goodies. Yes. Dragon ghosts. I wonder if our strength went up as well. The new poses are cool. No, I don't think it did. Good work, y'all. Making it clear that there's no way you could have actually killed the dragons if they didn't stand still and not fight back. Okay. Yeah, focus on the zombie doctor again, since the zombie was just attacking them. Trying to figure out what's up with it. Hmm. TNT. Switch. Set of switches on tracks. Probably gonna take this TNT somewhere specific. I've not been back 10 minutes and Gar's already trying to kill me again. Alright. That's fine. Well, if I have it go down here first, get that lockbox. There. Why this place is filled with zombies. Hello, so. Significant boost, and it's so much lighter. Absolutely worth going for. Hmm. I hadn't been paying attention to the health. Seriously, jump with its random damage is just fucking nonsense. We haven't been able to save since before the Angel Tower. Oh, we can't rewind that far back, because of course we can't. Why does this game have so few save points? Why is saving such an issue in this game? I'm not doing it. Absolute fucking nonsense. Oh, is Capcom allergic to save point? That's going to be it for today. I'm not in the mood to play more of this. To go through that awful dungeon with its awful monsters again. Yeah, I should have kept an eye on the health. Absolutely my bad. Maybe the game should have presented a save point at any point between the two dungeons. Been an issue since the start of the game. You'd think. You would think, but no, Capcom's third RPG and they didn't figure that out. God, Veronica does it. Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 7 regularly ask you if you want to save at specific points. In playing Tales of Zestiria, and after major story sequences that taken up a bit of a time, they'll ask you if you want to save. Such a poorly presented system as well. Like, oh, you can save at inns and at camp, neither of which is convenient. I'm going to start using save states. Oh, did something important just happen? Cool. Save state. That's doing us. That's it for us today. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Flame, Bane, Panda, Seek, Silent Night. Ryan. So much for joining me and keeping company. Chat is always the best part of the stream. We'll continue this. But at this point, I've lost real respect I had for the game. It's not interested in not wasting my time, is what it is. That last dungeon was just absolute bullshit to begin with. The camera angles have continued to be a recurring issue. The game continues to want to hide items behind the environment where you can't see it. The battles are so poorly presented because they want you to have those battles on the field map. The majority of battles have it where you either can't see at least one of your characters or the enemy. There's so much poorly presented about this. When it's good, but there's so much small shit adding up to it that's becoming really irritating. It's like an hour of progress, at least. At the very least, for all the nonsense we were dealing with in the dungeon, I was still getting experience. That's gone. I don't appreciate games that do that. Enemies that cast instant death spell that has a very strong chance of killing you, even when you're wearing an accessory that's supposed to protect you from that. Cool. At no point, I think once did you survive it, which is the same track record Nina had, and she wasn't wearing the accessory that protects her. So that's great. Those enemies that will confuse the entire party in a single attack. Great idea. Charm is already the worst status effect. Charm and Confuse is already the worst status effect. Put this. Genuinely just in about. If I remember or can be bothered to do it, I'll get back to around where we were off stream. And I'll just save, I'll do a save state, get back to the mine, go from there. If I don't, we'll just go tower on stream. Bothered. We've gone this far, so I want to continue playing the game at least. Tempted to just quit it and play Pepsi Man instead. What are we looking at this week? Definitely no Friday, Saturday stream. Possibly a stream tomorrow, see how I feel. This is the problem with the game deciding not to have save points. Oh, there's not really anything else to say. I'm really just complaining at this point. Thank you all for watching. It was always a fantastic day. Catch you next time. I can take losing an hour or so of progress. We had stuff like that in Nocturne. When we were doing Nocturne, I feel like there was at least one stream of Nocturne where I died at one point, 2 hours in or so, and lost all that progress. The problem is this has been a continuing issue from the start. Breath of Fire 3, the lack of save points and save opportunities. Like a long dungeon or like a long period in a dungeon between save points. Sure, this game has been so sparse with its save opportunity. I've been having to go out of my way multiple times to create a save opportunity to deal with it. And it's reached ahead with this. Of like, oh, from one awkward dungeon into another dungeon with a reduced party with no opportunity to stop and take a breath. That's the problem. So I think do what I do with pretty much every game that loses my respect. And we will just start using save states. I do not care anymore. Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that like I'm not against losing progress because of a death. It happens in RPG. We've dealt with it before. And I've taken it on the chin. It's something that you have to expect. It's that this has been an issue since the start of the game. I remarked early on in how weird it was that the game spends so long not giving you a save point. There was a point early in the game where I was very close to death and managed to survive. I was like, phew. Good thing I didn't die there because it's been a long time since the last time I was able to save. Like in the first village in McNeil. And it's like, cool, go into the inn and find out I can save there. That's the first opportunity I got to save for a long time. That was the only place I could save because the game didn't really explain camping and that you could save at camps. Bane had to tell me that because why would I expect that without going into camp? Plus, there's also the thing of you can't go into camp if you are anywhere near anything, or if there's an exclamation mark over your head, world map, which happens quite a lot. So those are points you can't do that. So early on, not knowing that you can save at the camp, bit of an issue there. Yeah, it's not the losing progress, it's the dungeon. Angel Tower was not fun. The enemies in it were frustrating. And I've got to go and do that again. Because the game is so bad with save points. So we will be using save states in future. I might jump in the Discord after this with another game that's fun. Take care, Ninja.